Hi there and welcome. If this is your first time here, my name is Tiffany and I'm the International Witch. Today I'm making my spread for August. Since Lughnasadh is on August 1st, I'll also be adding a Sabbath page for it. I hope you'll have fun spending time with me today and maybe leave with some inspiration for yourself. As usual, I'm working in my Mellow Days Rêverie journal with my Micron No. 5 pen. I'll try to have all of my supplies listed in the description below. For this layout, I was feeling extra, so I decided to include the full lunar calendar for August. I made it a bit complicated. I'm sorry if it seems like I'm rushing. My original video was just under 2 hours, so I had to trim a lot of footage. Italians only eat foods when they're in season, and right now is berry and fig season. My husband loves figs and waits impatiently for them every year. Messing up there with the ink pen really frustrated me, especially since I use watercolors. I can't just cover that up with some paint. At first, I thought I was just gonna leave it that way and maybe fix it in Photoshop for you guys, but it annoyed me too much, so I come back and I cover it up with a duplicate piece of paper. And here you see me creating the patch for my little mess up. There, it's like it never even happened. Here are the watercolors that I will be working with today. You'll see that raw sienna is mixed in a lot, and I use that to tone down my colors as well as unify them. Just like in previous months, I will have this available for download in my Grimoire section for free on my website. All you have to do is sign up for my newsletter. You'll get the code in your email, log that in, and you now have access to free printables every month, including my Bujo pages. For the figs on the first page, I'm using a watercolor technique called wet on wet, and all that means is that I add a layer of water down first where I plan on painting. This usually makes for a softer, blended look. I instantly decided that the colors just aren't bold enough for me, so I revert back to my normal wet on dry method for the rest of the journal. I'm just layering my red color wash and my purple color wash all together until I get a good blend of what I'm really looking for, until it looks right to me. Sometimes you go back and forth, there's no real technique to it. I just kept working with it until I was happy. And you see what I mean about the colors not being dark enough for me? I keep going back and keep adding, and it's just not getting as bold of a result as you get when you do wet on dry. You'll see on the next page, but I just wanted to point it out so you know what you're looking for. For the inside of the figs, I'm using an extremely washed out version of raw sienna around the edges, and then a very washed down version of my red mixture. And it's a little work in progress. I think the insides is where I kind of mess up the most on my figs, but ultimately they're cute. They're my figs. I know that a couple of my friends and viewers are from different countries. Is there anything that it's blooming or is in season right now that you look forward to every year? For us, it's definitely the figs for my husband. Like, he goes all out on the fig jam. He looks for the figs everywhere. And I also found out that there's like a debate between Cyprus figs and the Italian figs. I had no clue. Like, that goes deep. Some people were getting heated. I have never had a Cyprus fig, so I can't give my 2 cents on that, but you know what? The ones I have here in Italy, they're pretty freaking good, so I'm not going to turn my nose up to them. With this heat wave, I'm actually surprised that anything is growing. Like, I know down in Sicily, they've had such problems with their grains and their wine grapes that a lot of the farmers are actually switching to doing more tropical fruits like mangoes and avocados because everything is burning down there in the summer. It just gets so dry and they're losing so much. Climate change is such a huge issue over here, but unfortunately, until the big companies are forced to do their part, it's not going to change. That's why I have been so disheartened to see in Barcelona the people attacking tourists, because it's not the tourists' fault, it's their government's failure. Your government is the one who says how many people can dock at a port and how many airplanes can come in for, you know, trips and such. But they're not turning it down because they need the money. So because their government is failing them, they're attacking innocent people, and that's just not right. I've always wanted to visit Barcelona and Madrid, but quite frankly, there's no way in hell I'm going there now. For the title of the cover page, I decided to do a gradient using my basic fig colors. And my cover page is finally finished. I love how the lunar calendar came out. I may try to squeeze this in on more stuff. And now it's on to the next page. For this spread, I'm doing my spellwork and content layout. With the temperatures outside being as high as they are, I find myself staying inside with the good old air conditioning as much as possible. But with me being stuck indoors, that also means I have more time for witchy podcasts and music playlists and books. So I've actually been doing a lot of spell work this month already. So I am keeping the full page layout for my spell work going forth into August because I'm pretty sure I'm going to need it. Speaking of podcasts, my all-time favorites are The Witch Bitch Amateur Hour, New World Witchery, The Midnight Library, and Lore. If you have any favorite podcasts or anything interesting that you think I should look into, leave it in the comments below. I'm always looking for something new to add to my playlist. And if you're ever in the mood for some new music or maybe something just to listen to during a Sabbath, you can always click the link down below that will take you to my website, and I have a link to my Spotify where I have curated playlists specifically for all types of witches and all of the Sabbaths. And yes, I am back to putting music in the background just because I hate that awkward silence. I watched my last video and I kind of cringed. So I'm sorry if you don't like the music in the background. This time I'm going straight in with my watercolors on the dry paper, and you'll already see there's so much more color. I love, love, love the way that this page turns out. I think in my entire spread, this is my favorite page. I want to take a moment to say a big thank you to the viewer who suggested that I use happy lights for my lighting issue. They worked out perfectly. I bought 2 different models, but I prefer this one because this one you can adjust and move the head wherever you want, and the other one is stationary I got, and it didn't really work out and kept falling over. So I would highly suggest this model if you're looking into getting a happy light. It has worked wonders for me. I really had to rein myself in on this section because there's so many leaves and so many figs, and I wanted to put so much detail on everything, but that would have taken days. So I get the leaves and everything to a certain point, but I don't really do too much detailing in them. I literally had to step away for a bit and be like, Tiffany, it is enough. It is enough. Walk away from the watercolors. And normally when it comes to art, that is like the exact opposite of what I would tell someone. I learned while I was in college, I would watch everyone else in my painting class and their paintings came out so much better than mine and I couldn't understand. But as I was watching them, I would get to a point in my paintings where I'm like, okay, everything's colored in, okay, it looks good, it's fine. But everyone else would just keep going, and it was all the details and the lighting and the shading that like really brings an art piece together. So I did get that mentality that more is more. Keep going, you need to fill out more. So it's really hard when I'm doing a YouTube video because I'm working with time constraints. Like I can't show you the process of me working on something for 3 weeks. Like this was me working on something for 3 days and it took me 6 hours to condense it down to 30 minutes. So I am battling myself here. Although you do see me down here adding shading to these leaves, and that's just because they were so big that they looked really weird and flat without any shading, but I don't do it to the little leaves. Okay, and we are done. Look at how pretty it is. Look at it. The colors. Oh, I'm so much happier with this page than I was the cover page. Now over to my content planning page. Because not many people are into social medias and don't have to plan content, I patched out the word content on my last Bujo spread, and I'll do the same here, so you can still print this out and maybe you can make it your habits page or, you know, goals page or something. This page is going to go a lot faster than my Spellwork page did just because it's smaller and not so detailed. Oh crud, I am just realizing I didn't do any kind of schedule page for this month. Well, I mean, there you go. Instead of a content page, you can use this as your schedule page. Dang it. Noob mistake. Well, you know, you learn and get loves or whatever that saying is. I'll remember it next month. Has anybody seen the new commercials for the next Beetlejuice movie, like the Beetlejuice 2? I am so excited for it. Like, it bums me out that they waited so long to finally make a part 2, but I have wanted one for so long and I am so excited, but because I'm in Italy, I can't see it in theaters, and oh man, it is killing me. We have a movie theater on the base, but they get like really crappy movies and they'll only get like 1 or 2. So if there's like 6 movies out, we may get 1. And it's never the good ones. It's more of like just, I would say family friendly, but it's like kid movies. And I get it, a lot of the families on base have kids, but I am dying to see Beetlejuice. Oh, and Red One. Red One is coming out for Christmas with Chris Rock in it, and that looks hilarious. I'm not a huge Christmas movie person, but that is the first Christmas movie in a long time that I'm actually looking forward to. It's like this year has all the great movies, and I'm not in the US and I can't enjoy them. Okay, and that is it for my content page. This one was pretty quick, but still very cute. Okay, the next page is going to be my goals page, but this one is going to be way different than I normally do. I've been watching a YouTube content creator called Beth and Beyond, and she cuts her goals up into the different elemental powers, and I thought that was such a unique idea. So for like fire, it could mean creativity and passion, and so I'm labeling each of the 5 elements with one attribute that I really want to work on for this month. So my attributes that I chose for spirit is connection, whether that be connection to my spouse or friends and family. For fire, I chose creativity. For air, knowledge. For earth, stability. And for water, gratitude. And for my goals, I will find one goal to fulfill each of these different sections. For instance, I chose gratitude for water, so maybe I might set a goal that I will do a gratitude meditation every morning. Or for knowledge, maybe I'll take a master class. So it helps me pick out goals, but it also keeps me from picking out too many goals. Like, it limits me to 5. You know, I wonder if it would be better if I started all my videos with all of the lines already filled in. Because, I mean, obviously you can tell I use a pencil to do my initial mock-up, and maybe that'll cut out on some of the time and make it a shorter video. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you enjoy watching me line everything, or should I just skip it and go straight to the paint? When I color the inside of the star, I'm specifically going back to that wet on wet technique because I want this color to be very, very light, almost noticeable, because I'm going to be using this space to fill in my goals. So I want my writing to be able to stand out on top of the color. And now on to my Lughnasadh page. Lughnasadh is a holiday that is in between the summer solstice and the autumn equinox. So it's in between Litha and Mabon. Now it's not fall yet, because like I said, it's in between the summer solstice and the fall equinox. But this is the day that tells me, okay, the summer heat is going to cool down a little bit and now it's tolerable and you can go outside and play. I look forward to this holiday every year just to get outside and play more. Lughnasadh is also known as the first harvest, and it's one of the traditional 4 Gaelic seasonal festivals, along with Samhain, Imbolc, and Beltane. In traditional Irish mythology, the god Lu establishes Lughnasadh as a funeral feast in honor of an earth goddess. Now, which goddess and exactly how did she die is up for debate. I read 6 different versions that were completely different. According to Wikipedia, in medieval times these games were viewed as we would modern-day Olympics. Kings would meet at the festival and declare a truce while it was going on. One custom I find fascinating is that young couples could come here to be wed in what was like a trial marriage. They would then be married for a year and 1 day. After that, they could decide if they wanted to continue the marriage or if they wanted to split up without any consequences. If you've heard of Lughnasadh, then you've probably heard the name Lammas as well. In Ireland, the Christian Church adopted many of the celebrations and gods. The name Lammas comes from the Christian holiday of Loaf Mass that the Catholic Church created for the same day. At this time, the first fresh loaves of bread from the grains harvested would be blessed during Lammas. Since I'm not a Christian, I tend to use the name Lughnasadh, but I have heard witches use Lammas as well since it is easier to spell. Because I want this background to fade and I want the bread and corn in the front to really stand out, I'm doing the wet on wet method again, but only for the background. Everything else will be wet on dry. I'm going back in with just a little bit more darker of the blue, just to give it a little bit more dimension in the background. Once again, just going in with a darker shade just to give more dimension to make it look like there's highlights and lowlights of the trees. Because I knew I was going to be using the raw sienna in the wheat, I needed a different color that would stand out. So here you can see I added in yellow ochre for the ribbon. Painting it with watercolors is the exact opposite of painting with acrylics, because when you're painting with watercolors, you have to start with your highlights first, because you can't lighten up your watercolors, so you always start with the lightest color. And here I'm using a very diluted raw sienna, and I keep adding colors in. In an effort to darken things up, I wind up adding in raw umber as well as a lot of Van Dyke brown, but you'll see here in a little bit, like, it still looks way too dry to me. So I start adding in a little bit of burnt sienna, and then ultimately I cover it up with yellow ochre to cover the raw sienna. I keep adding colors. With so many different shades of yellow and brown going on, I wound up adding cadmium yellow to the corn, just so it looked a little different and had its own color of yellow. My wheat looks so crazy. I am awful with wheat, so just ignore some of it, but I tried. I used raw sienna for the base, and then for the shading, I used yellow ochre. And ta-da! She is finished! Don't forget, if you sign up for my newsletter, you can download this in the grimoire section of my website. And now for the final walkthrough. I hope you have enjoyed following along with me as I painted this. This was definitely the more difficult on my artistic abilities. I've never done fruits, which I know is like the first thing people normally do when they learn a new painting style, but I never have, and I think I did a pretty good job. If you've lasted this long in the video, would you consider hitting that like and subscribe button? It would mean the world to me. Love you. Bye.